Hi. Today, instead of showing you everything about the one block that you're going to make for Saturday Sampler, I'm just going to show you a skill. And this skill is called backwards cutting, or you're going to do backwards math. Anyway, and it'll show you how to slice really nicely when you're making little four patches. So this is actually the block that we're going to make, and so I've got all my strips sewn and I've pressed them to the red, and there are 4 strips sets that are shorter and then one that is longer, sorry. And you're going to get 3 cuts out of this one, and you're going to get 4 cuts out of this. So backwards cutting, a lot of times I'll say cut 3 strips, and so what you want to do is you want to square off this edge. And I'm right-handed, so this is for right-handed people. If you're left-handed, you square off this left edge. And you're going to line up the seam right here, and you're going to just trim it off straight so that this is a perfect angle, a perfect right angle. Okay, now on this piece of paper, I have written down 2 1/4 is the size of the slice. One more is 4 1/2, another one is 6 3/4, another strip would be 9 inches total. That means this is how much length I need. So for 3 strips, I need 6 3/4 inches. So I trimmed off that edge. Now I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to get 3 strips out of here. So I'm going to line this up at 6 3/4, and I'm going to make my first cut. And then I'm going to back it up to my second measurement, which is 4 1/2. And again, I'm going to line up here, here, and I'll do a cut off of there. My next cut should be at 2 1/4. So I've got this lined up and that lined up. So this is just backwards cutting, and then I don't have to worry about measuring each one of these individually. Now on a 2 1/4 inch slice, I like to figure my math beforehand. And another way to do it, this is the second option, is to line up that right end again. And I'm going to back that up a little bit because that didn't seem to catch very well. Okay, now I'm going to line this ruler up so that it's nice and straight along that center seam. And then I'm going to get a second ruler, and I'm going to put it on a line here and 2 1/4 right there. Then I'm going to put this ruler right up next to it. I move this ruler and I cut. And then I'll do that again. I'll line this one up at 2 1/4. This is straight. That is straight. I line up this ruler, I put it right next to it, and then move this one. And that's a super easy way to not have to move your fabric when you're subcutting slices. So you just have to line up the seam. Another thing, a problem that I have seen in the past, is that people don't know how wide to make their slices. So you're told in the pattern that you're going to cut this to 2 1/4, but the way that you always know is you measure your original strip, and if that's 2 1/4, then that's what you're going to subcut your slices. So another block that's for a different block is this one, and this one ends up a different size, so my slices need to be 2 inches. So in order to make sure that that's correct, I'm going to measure this. It's 2 inches, so I know that that's how big my slices are. So this one is easy because you'll just go 2, 4, 6, 8 if you're doing that backwards cutting. Okay, so I slice off the one end, I turn it around. I'm going to get 4 slices, so I put this at 8 inches. Let me actually just double check and make sure that that's what I do, that there's 4 in each one. So I put this left hand measurement on 8, then 6, then 4, and 2. So this is the one that you kind of have to know your math and your measurements. Even numbers, super easy. Even half numbers are super easy. But the 1/4 inch, like I showed on the other block, not as easy. Can you sew this for me? Just one of them into a 4-patch. Okay, I'm going to go through the other method of where you use the second ruler. So these are 2 inches. Depending on where you're taking your class, make sure that you know how much you're going to trim your slices to. So I line this up, and then I do a 2-inch cut. Line up horizontally as well as vertically. And that is called backward slicing, backward cutting. I'm going to show you how to pop the seam behind the 4-patch. And then we're done with our instruction for this. But this is a really cool method. If you're doing lots and lots of strip cutting, this works fantastic. All right, so this has been sewn into a 4-patch, and you're going to take that center seam that was just sewn, and you're going to hold on either side of it, that upright. And you're going to twist it like that, and it'll unpick that little seam right here, and then you're going to open it up. This seam is already pressed left, this one's already right, so this one will go up and that will go down, and they'll follow each other around that center. And that is called popping the seam.